Nurse T is the person that understands. She has gone through so much in her life, so there is no judgment. She opens her heart to you. From 514, she was on the ground and has been on the ground ever since. She keeps in contact with every single person. If they can't get to her, she'll get to them.
She came and got me today. I didn't have a way to get here.
The average nurse is not going to your home. She's like, no, I'm one of you and you're one of me, so therefore this is what I'm going to do.
Good evening, I'm Ed Dranch. Western New Yorkers have dealt with a lot of heartache and trauma over the past 2 years. Perhaps the people who felt it most are right here on Buffalo's East Side. Between a deadly snowstorm and a hate-fueled mass shooting, there are people who are helping ease the pain and people looking to bring a brighter future to Buffalo's East Side. It is my honor to introduce you to Trinetta Alston, who wears many hats in this neighborhood and is constantly on the move to make this a better place. But before she could help others, she had to help herself. Trinetta, introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
So my name is Trinetta Alston. I'm an LPN with the Community Health Center of Buffalo, an RN graduate, a Medicaid certified doula, community nurse, COVID nurse, and an immunization coordinator here. I've been here for 12 years. I am a mom of 4, a grandmother of 3, and a friend to many.
What don't you do here?
Sleep. I don't sleep here. I should, though.
There's so much of a need.
There is. I mean, this is my passion, though. You know, I've always wanted to help people, right? And my history.
Yeah, I want to dig into your history for a sec because you kind of have an unusual path to the seat.
Right. So I had a drug addiction. Crack cocaine was my drug of choice. I had that addiction for 14 years. I was homeless for 4 years. The last 4 years that I was homeless, I found out I was pregnant, right? The last 4 months, I was addicted. And I was in denial. It's like, you know, my kids are all 9 months apart. And it's in my head, if I didn't have another one at 9 months, yeah, I'm not having any more, right? Go figure. So when I found out I was pregnant, I went to Cornerstone Manor, a shelter. That time they were on Carlton. And stayed there. 'Cause I don't believe in bringing a baby in this world with a problem that's not his. And I don't believe in abortions, but that's just me. So I cleaned myself up, found an apartment before I had my son, and moved. Kind of tested myself with that apartment because I moved over a family member that I used to get high with. My thinking was, if I can stay there and not get high because I knew the people, then I'm good. And I did it. After a while, I'm like, okay, now I need to decide what I want to do. So I went to CNA school, became a CNA. Wanted to do more. So I went to nursing school, went to RN school. Second guessed myself out of that program. It's like, oh, maybe I got high too long. I'm not smart enough, right? So I took a step back, went to LPN school, graduated from there. I worked with the Pediatric Services of America at first, taking care of kids on vent strakes and G-tubes. Then I came here. I was always a patient with the Community Health Center from younger. All my kids were patients here. I'm like, but I always wanted to work here. So then I came here to work and was a pediatric nurse in Niagara Falls with Dr. Brown for 7 to 8 years, and then they moved me over here. And been here ever since.
What is that like now, being able to give back to the people who've helped you and to the community that's helped you?
It comes full circle for me because this is what I asked God for, to be able to give back the love that was given to me, right? In my time of being homeless, I never slept on the street. I never worried about what I was going to eat, right? So we have to pay that forward. So they say you have to be careful what you ask for, right? And this is just what my calling is. This is what I'm supposed to do. That's why I got all the graces and mercies from when I was messed up. And he continued to bless me and continued to bless me, but he also allowed me to walk down that path so that I can do what it is I'm doing today.
Trinetta, what exactly did you ask God for?
I asked him to help me clean myself up and to give the love back that was given to me. Nursing is the only place you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere else, people gonna think you want something in return. As a nurse, I don't. You know, and people are like, well, you know, you can work here and get paid this much and you can get paid. It's not about money. You're not gonna get rich being a nurse. You're just not. If in nursing, if you came into it for the money, then get out. Because you're gonna hurt somebody or you're never gonna be happy. For me, I don't see myself going anywhere. I tell my CEO all the time, she can fire me if she wants to. I'm gonna come back as a volunteer until she come to her senses. Then I'm still here. But I love what I do here. I'm able to go outside in the community. I'm able to touch people who I would not otherwise be able to touch. I couldn't ask for nothing more.
But on May 14th, 2022, when a racist came to Buffalo shooting and killing 10 black people at Tops, Trinetta's mission became that much more important. I wanted to take a broader look, a year after what happened at Tops on May 14th, at the people who are in the community really helping to mend the community.
So people got to understand, in that area of Tops, right, there's a group of people who sit right at the corner across the street. And they would just sit there and they're communing and they're talking to each other, right? When that happened, they couldn't sit there no more, right? Or they didn't want to. Now they are, and going in the Tops, people didn't want to go in there, you know, to ask them, why did you come back? But then you got to understand, where else people going to grocery shop at? We don't have anywhere else. You look around, there are not many grocery stores, but it's corner stores everywhere. I believe the East Side was set up to fail. You know, we're forgotten about until something big happens, and a week or two or a month after that's over with, then everybody disappears, but we're still here. We're still here, so all we have is each other. That's all we know is how to fight. But Buffalo, that's what we do. We're resilient. No, we're not going to let something like that just like stop us. The East Side of Buffalo has always had to struggle. Always. So that's what we're going to continue to do.
And that's kind of what I wanted to show people, that this is a community that's become so isolated.
Right.
But if we broaden our horizons or expand our horizons, it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, we have housing over here that's broke down, tore up. Nobody will fix it up, right? They'd rather tear it down. But then we have so many people who are homeless. And to move in any other area, let's be real, they can't afford the rent.
Right.
You have landlords who have properties in the East Side of Buffalo asking astronomical amounts of rent, and it's not worth the rent. But then what do you do? So, I mean, we need to look beyond being in front of a camera and really get down and build this community back up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of where you come in, and your role as a community nurse outside of this building is really in full force. And it was interesting when we were talking before we started talking in front of the cameras here.
Right.
You are on the ground. You are in the community working with people to make sure that they are okay.
Yes.
First of all, tell me about that.
Who, under which role? So, okay, as a community nurse, I mean, I go in the Tops 2, 3, maybe sometimes 4 times a week just to talk to them.
And you just go in on a whim.
Just to go. Yeah. Just to go. They all have my cell phone number. They'll call me.
And you say they all, who?
Everybody that I have been involved with as far as 514 go, they have 24/7 access to me. So anybody that I come in contact with, I just found the police officers from E District that was actually there on the scene, and I started speaking to them yesterday. And I told them, just like the TOPS associates that I've spoken to, I'm going to give you my cell phone number because as of now, you have 24/7 access to me. So Sundays I could be at home, they can be having a problem, call me. They may need counseling, call me. And whatever I can do to link you to what you need to be linked to, that's what I'm going to do. My job is not a 9 to 5 or a 8 to 7, or I'm on call
24/7.
24/7.
The biggest thing that you're seeing right now when you are out on the streets, around TOPS, in the community, what are you seeing?
So a lot of people are just now, the PTSD is setting in.
A year later.
A year later, they're just figuring out that's what it is. You know what I mean? And then it's like the constant talking about it. Some people just want to go through a day where they don't hear it anymore. They're tired. So let's stop dwelling on what happened, and let's get a plan on how to move forward and fix it for them and fix it for us. Because quite actually, anybody African American walking around the streets of Buffalo, we all were impacted by it, directly or indirectly, right? We changed our whole attitude towards each other.
What do you mean?
I had one TOPS employee tell me because some cars rolled down his street with white people in it, he thought they were casing the place. It's like, we can't do that. We can't do that. And then you have the Black Lives Matter and da-da-da. All lives matter. Doesn't matter what color you are. The fact is, if I cut you and you cut me, we're going to bleed the same color.
Pam Pritchett, who lost her mom, Pearl, often says, you put your tears in a bottle and you put my tears in a bottle. They're all the same color.
They're all the same color. It's not oil and water that don't mix. It's all the same color. I actually went to school with her brother, James Young. I went to school with him. My pastor and first lady knew her mother. So...
What is that like for you? What do you feel in all of this?
You still ask that question, why? What did my race do to deserve for people to hate us that much? When all it really is sit down and talk with us. Before me and you met, we were just talking. You don't know what you have in common with a person. You don't know how a person can help you.
What is that burden that you shoulder?
Okay, so I don't look at it as a burden, right? I don't look at it as a burden. In the Bible, God says, if you do it for the least of them, you've done it for me. So how can I consider anybody a burden when nobody considered me one? Where would I be if somebody thought that I was a burden? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be in this chair. I wouldn't be clean. I probably wouldn't have my kids. My son wouldn't be graduating from high school. Well, he graduated from high school. My oldest son wouldn't be living in Arizona, married with 2 kids. My 2 girls here wouldn't be as self-sufficient. Where would we be? People got to understand, when you take care of one person, you're taking care of a whole family back behind that. The things you don't see. A hug, a smile, or just conversating. You don't know how that changes a person's day. So
it's like smiling at somebody.
It is. And I'm not, I get tired, but I have my church family who, when I really need to be picked up, definitely picks me up, lifts me up, encourages me. I have people who uplift me, and all my coworkers here, I get tired, I'm not gonna lie, but I press on.
You're getting a little emotional.
I am. I tell this story a lot, right? Yeah. And to think that what I've been through, that I would be here talking to you about my story, Never would have thought that. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, very humbling thing. And, people are like, even when we started, I told you I was nervous. And you was like, oh, you got this. It's not because of the cameras. It's the disbelief that I have that it's me. Because for a long time, I thought I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy enough, but I am. I am. I'm just who God selected to put me here at this organization, to bring me to where I am, to bring out my full potential.
Finally tonight, Trinetta on family, how she's busting stereotypes and overcoming barriers, how she's breaking what she calls a generational curse. Do you think that your trauma is relative?
I do, because people got to understand the trauma that they faced over there is not just from 514. That was just another layer that was put on there. So you have the single mother who don't think she's worthy to be anything more than that. You have the people going through domestic violence who think they deserve that. You have the people who work jobs that they can't sustain. Majority of people on the east side of Buffalo who work, they work 2 jobs, and it's not to have extra money. It's to sustain the life that, you know what I'm saying? It's to make ends meet. It's to make ends meet.
Do you think those same systemic structures that have been in place promoting racism in government still exist today?
It does. It does. How many people like me do you see in government? Number one, you don't see that many. The ones that you see who do promote and all of that, they get shot down from those who have money. I say you have the people who are making the decisions for us come and live in a house for 30 days on the east side of Buffalo with the amount of money that a person would get who is on food stamps. Have them live here for 30 days.
Try and make it work.
Please.
They wouldn't be able to.
No, but we are matched to do it every day. And Lord forbid their car break down. Boom. Get it fixed. You can't raise a family on what they give you. They say a person that's on social services is actually living $100 below the poverty line, and you're okay with that. The school systems on the east side of Buffalo, they didn't get computers to take home until COVID, whereas in the suburbs, they always had computers to take home. They don't get textbooks because they say there are not enough. So how do you reinforce learning with your kids if they don't have a book to bring home? They are set up to fail. You know what I'm saying? So, and tired is not, I just had a son go through 4 years of high school. I didn't just start getting on him when he went to high school or just his last year. No, it started in the beginning. As with my other children. It started in the beginning. They were lead poisoned. They told me their IQs would be low. No, we're not going to use that stereotype on my kids. You're not using no crutches. So I had to drill things. And then, for my son in high school, he played basketball. I was coach mom. And I'm still coach mom. I still try to look out for the ones that I can. One of them I go get and I take him to church with me. Right? So, we got to do what we got to do, but we can't do it by ourselves.
What has led you to this place, though? What has led you to feel that urge to compel your children to take a different route as opposed to that stereotypical route?
Because they deserve to have dreams that they can turn, you know what I'm saying? Not leave it as a dream, but a goal. My son wants to work in cybersecurity. Why shouldn't he? When he was looking for colleges, I took him on the college tours, and I'm like, okay. And then he was like, well, Mom, I want to go to St. Bonaventure because that's where I feel most at home. I said, okay. When I got in my bedroom door, I hit the floor like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But he going to be okay. If that's where he want to go, then that's where he's going to go. Don't ever limit yourself. I don't put limits and a cap on myself, so I'm not going to put a limit or a cap on my kid. But watch for him. 4.5 years, he'll be coming out. He'll be in cybersecurity. And if he wants to go on to open his own business, then that's what he's going to do. My other son, my oldest son, lives in Arizona. He didn't graduate from high school. He quit. But he went back. It's not the fact that it's not the failure that you resonate on. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, that's what I would have did. No, you get up. And when you get up with power. My son works for the state of Arizona now, owns his home, has 2 children and a wife. He okay. My 2 girls here, I have one daughter, my youngest daughter, who is starting her own craft business. Where she does handmade, customized gifts. Dominoes, chessboards, anything.
They're hustling.
Right. But it's that work ethic that you have to instill. And if we can do that, then we can break this generational curse that we have. You know what I'm saying? Our kids will understand that they are worthy to go to any school that they want to go to. They don't have to have a lot of money, because there are ways out here that can help you go to school.
That's so important. And I'm so glad that you said that, because so many people who are watching will say, well, it's the parents' job, or why don't they go to school, or...
But it's not the parents' job. It's the community's job to make sure that these kids get what they got. Imagine these kids that's coming up on the east side of Buffalo who problems start when they babies, that struggle. But then when you get up to high school and you're ready to go to college, you think, I can't go because my mother or whoever, my grandmother or whoever, can't afford to send me. We shouldn't be sending that message to our kids. We shouldn't. People in governmental offices, I don't know their struggle. But if they had one, they shouldn't want that for anybody else, because in honesty, my children are mine, but they also the community. We have a right to be wherever we want to be and do whatever we want to do. If we work for it, we have that right. But it's people who seem to think we don't.
Does that motivate you?
It do. It do. I can't change the whole world, but I can put the footprints in the sand. And soon other footprints will be next to mine. It'll multiply. We'll get the message. It may not be in my lifetime, but I believe we'll get the message. I have to believe that. I have to. You need some tissue?
No, I think you're amazing. I just think that that is really, really, it's bigger than you.
It is. And that's why all of this right here is humbling, because never would I have ever thought this would be in my path. But I have an assignment that was given to me from God, and whatever it takes, I'm going to see it through. You gonna make me cry. You gonna run my makeup.
No, you are amazing. So good.
I try.
Thank you.
I try.
Thank you for trusting me to tell your story. This is huge. You are doing such amazing work, and I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. And thank you for being with us tonight. Together, we can build on this momentum to create real change in the city of Buffalo and beyond. I'm Ed Ranch. Good night.